Hi guys, Currency Games here with another video, well podcast should I say. And as I promised, we hit 100 subscribers and we said we're going to get a podcast going with some of my trusted friends, mates, and people I just met in the trading industry, to be fair. So I'm not doing podcasts with anyone that I don't know or I don't think has a valid opinion on the markets or a valid opinion on life in general, because there's a lot of foolishness out there in general. But here's one of my close boys, Ghostreceipts. Go on, mate. You introduce yourself, let the public know who you are.
Yeah, I'm Ghostreceipts. I'm, great friend of Currency Games. Both been in this game for, around 3 years. But yeah, pleasure to be on this podcast, man. Congrats,
Perfect.
congrats on 100 subscribers as well, man.
Yeah, thank you, man. It was a task. To be fair, I did hit it quite quickly, but
Yeah,
it's
no,
just
you
it's
did.
just it's just it's just giving out good content and being true to my trading. To be fair,
Literally.
so go on, my bro. How did you get into trading? Like, what was your first like encounter with it, stuff like that?
Okay, it was trading. I think, everyone knows about trading, quote unquote, but nobody really knows about what trading actually is. So obviously, I've heard it here and there. Didn't start it until I was about 18. Obviously, I heard it from, obviously, you guys don't know this, but, Currency Games put me on. He'd been doing it for, a few months. He was like, bro, let me show you this thing, like, we can make bread from it. Obviously, he told me from the jump that it was going to be difficult, something that's going to take time. A lot of people tell you that, Forex is easy, or just trading in general, wherever it is, crypto stocks, whatever you want to call it. Everyone says that it's easy. That was just, or people just say that to try and get you to sign up to some sort of program. Obviously, me and Currency Games, we were boys for however long, and he told me straight how it was. He told me, "Cool, this thing's going to be difficult. If you want to join, then join and be part of the team." So, after I saw what he was doing, after I saw, how he was grinding, I saw the work. I wanted to be part of the process. So I was like, you know what? Let me try this thing out. And when I tried it out, I liked the learning process. I liked how, it forced me to develop my mind, because this thing is it's all mental. It's not physical. Nothing's physical. Everything's in the mind, and it forces you to, as obviously we're men, so it forces you to become a man, really, because you can look physically, you know as a man, you can look like physically intimidating. You can have all these muscles and everything, but to be a real man, you need to, master the mind. I feel like, the charts forces you to master the mind. If you don't master the mind, you can't master the charts, sort of thing. So yeah, I started, um, doing it for a few months, and then I realized, you know what, yeah, like this thing, there's definitely there's definitely something to, there's definitely like a key that I need to find to unlock to unlock the vision for the charts.
Yeah, as they
And
say,
the fact
once you
that
see it, you can't unsee it. To be fair.
once you see it, you can't unsee it. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like when you scrunch paper, you can't unscrunch it. It can't be straight again. It's the same as the charts. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. And it's not only that, it's the fact that I wasn't by myself. I also had, not only currency gains, but, a couple of other people that, are close to us as well. So we kind of formed a mastermind group, and it was like, we're all working towards the same goal, which, brought us here. So it got to a point where quitting is not really an option, even though, there's ups and then there's downs. The downs is not really, even though they're downs, you've got your support system, you've got your mastermind group. Everyone's bringing each other up. No one's doing this by themselves. So yeah, you know, I've got to attribute a lot of my progress to currency games as well. Because at one point, it's just asked you, just going back and forth with Zooms, watching videos, just trying to clock the thing, really. So yeah, that's how I got into it. So
Yeah. I got to add to that as well. Like, there wasn't, compared to how many of us that started, there wasn't many of us that continued through. If you look back at the days, that's even when we were in those stupid little marketing foolishness. There was about 60 of us that jumped on it at one point. I think, if I'm not incorrect.
yeah, no,
And,
about that.
and yeah, and if you look at it now, bro, it's only like a handful, literally even less than a handful of us that have stuck
I
through
can
it.
count I can count in my right hands, really.
Yeah, literally that have stuck through it
Yeah.
throughout the the years. You know, the test of time is a true thing. But as I said, you're only as strong as your group around you. It's not just one person that's stuck with it. It's a group of people that we've almost bounced off each other with ideas. Motivation is a big thing as well. Just keeping each other motivated and making sure we're on track to reaching that next level that we need to hit to get to a better place, essentially. Yeah. What do you think of IML? Like, when because you both got to admit, like, obviously me first, let me talk about that actually. So how I got into trading was I asked one of my friends, Ra. No, in fact, they asked me, Ra, Tarek, would you be on doing trading? And obviously me, I was already interested in it at the start. This was years ago. And then I got unknowingly brought into a group called IML, in which there is a bit of training content there, I'm not going to lie. They had some learning facilities for you to get a good understanding of the game. But when you get to a certain level when you're trading, you see the foolishness in the words some people speak, because you can easily just waffle your way through the charts if you're talking to someone you don't know, he doesn't know anything about the charts. But as me and the boys, we leveled up, we started to see the downfalls of IML. We started to see us losing focus of the actual trading aspect and going more into the marketing side. What was your opinion on that? Oh, internet.
I don't even associate you with IMO, and obviously I'm not gonna discredit what those guys do. That's all on them. That's very individual. I'm only focused on myself. But in terms of when we did join, which was back in somewhere at the start of 2020 when COVID came about, a lot of these people. I'll tell you one thing about the group that is about 60 of us at that max capacity. There's about 60 of us. But I'll say one thing about our group. We had we came in with the intention to learn how to trade, but a lot of people in that institution in IMO are not there to trade. They're there to promote trading, and they're there to obviously make other people come in under them, and then they get residual income through the amount of people that's under them and all that stuff. But we didn't come with that mind. We came with, all right, cool. We're interested in trading. We want to learn how to trade. Does this platform give us the ability to learn how to trade? And obviously there was videos here and there. There was tutors and stuff. Obviously we're just getting inside the game, so we're doing our own back testing, and then we're going on the website and watching all these videos. Majority of people are not watching these videos, so we're watching videos, getting some clues here and there. Okay, of course, a lot of these people, these tutors, don't know what they're talking about, but there's things written in between the lines that you might find out for yourself on the charts, but you'll never find that out unless you watch those videos, which most of those people weren't doing. We'll have like a routine where we have different people doing Zoom meetings, talking about just more or less talking about the charts. But then when you go into another meeting with other leaders, nobody's talking about trading. So it was like, why are we here? I thought we were here to learn how to trade. And then we looked around us and we realized we were just in the wrong environment. But it's not something that we look back and regret. We look back and we appreciate that we went through that period, because there's a lot to learn. Like, yeah. I'm a firm believer in everything happens for a reason, and being in IML for however many months, I think I was in there for maybe like 3 months or 4 months. But in those 3/4 months, I learned a lot, not just about trading, but just about people, and just about how people will try and use you to better themselves. People's intentions when they're trying to pretend that they're trying to put you on, things like that, and comparing that to the intention of myself, Currency Games, and some of the other people that were close to us. We're saying, why are we here? We're actually trying to learn how to trade. These guys are not trying to learn how to trade, so let's just take ourselves out of this environment and actually do what we intended to do. And as you said, time will tell. There's only a handful of us now, so yeah. The people that claim that they wanted to learn how to trade, I mean, majority of them aren't doing that right now, and there's no shade there. it's not easy. It's not easy. I'd be lying if I sat here and told you that, this journey was easy. And, the journey's not ended. The learning never stops. We're always students. But, you get to a certain level where you realize you can make money consistently. Even when you're not making money consistently, you see something that's repeating. That's when you know that, cool, I can make money consistently. It's just getting to that level of, yes, cool, I am making money consistently. And you get to that point and it's like, cool, this quitting is not really an option. But majority of people don't stay in the game long enough to get to that level. So yeah, that's my take on
Yeah, exactly
on
that,
that.
my guy. I don't think I could have said it any better. Because even from day, like me, you, and a few of the others, we were putting in the work. Like remember bounce back.
Yeah,
We were on
yeah,
bounce back
yeah.
from early in the morning from when it
Yeah,
started.
yeah, fam.
Even though these men were chatting rubbish, it's the principle behind it. Though we had the desire to learn.
Yeah,
All these things, like we had the desire from the start, and
yeah,
it's stayed consistent throughout. To be fair,
yeah, yeah.
and we never lost sight of the end goal. We might have
The goal,
been,
yeah,
someone might have thrown a smoke bomb and it might have blinded us for a day or two, but we got rid of that smoke bomb quickly. We put on our mask and we
yeah,
got back into action. Do you know what I mean? And
yeah, yeah,
we
exactly.
done what we needed to do
Yeah.
in that regards. And would you say IML is a trap people can fall into?
A trap. I think it's a trap if you let it be a trap to you because it wasn't a trap to us. So then we've proved that we've proved that is like if it's up to you whether you make it a trap for yourself. So we came with the intention to learn how to trade. So if we came with that intention and we realize that this is not really the place where we're going to get the best results, then we're going to look elsewhere or we're going to do our own thing. If you come with different intentions and your main focus is on getting residuals from the amount of people that you sign under your recruit, then obviously cool, you're going to fall into that trap. But obviously it depends on your intentions. It depends on your goals. We had a goal, and IMO wasn't in that path. If our goal was to get residuals, then yeah, I mean it wouldn't be a trap. It would be in a perfect place because that's what we'll be doing. But if you're learning how to trade, I'll say yes, it is a trap. But then when you come out of it, you realize how much you've learned. But that's only in hindsight. But obviously you have to weather that storm. That's like any sort of period, any down period, you have to weather the storm, and then you look back and you turn the L into a lesson. So that's what it really was. I don't see that as an L. I just see it as a lesson. There was a lot to be learned. There's a lot of lessons I've learned. I still think about today. It's brought me here today. So yeah, it can be a trap for some people, but that's if you let it be a trap. That's my take on it. What are you though?
Yeah, I completely agree. It's just I feel like it really brings out the inner person. To be fair, it really shows what you came into it for, because there's money to be made in the marketing side if you really go ahead with that. But that's money is the real tester of anything. To be fair, and if someone puts money in front of you, it really makes you align with what your actual goals are. And I feel like that test showed us that we were really onto trading, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, moving on from IMO, if you remember when we first got introduced to the concepts we use now, ICT concepts, I think I
Yeah.
came to, it was a you or my other boy, and I came to you with this video of him on YouTube, and I was like, Rod,
I'm like,
hey,
who's this?
who's this guy? Like this guy, I don't know what he's talking about, because like, we weren't even that advanced yet to even understand or comprehend what he was saying.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
we were just like, who's this guy? And I think
yeah,
we left it for a few months, and then we came back to it, and then that's when I think things really took
took
a
off. Yeah,
change.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So what would you say about your introduction to ICT concepts?
So ICT, yeah, I remember it was you that called me and you were like, bro, free this guy. Yeah, his name's the inner circle trader, yeah.
Yeah,
I'll never forget inner circle. It went straight on YouTube, yeah. I searched on inner circle trader. I remember like his bio was cheeky. I think it
yeah,
was
it
like
was.
your mentor's mentor.
Yeah, that
Saw
was it.
that, yeah. I said, cool, cool. He's not putting that there for no reason. We're saying your mentor's mentor, yeah, and he had quite a few followers. Obviously, ICT is not he's not the most known guy in a community of people that are really on trading. Of course, he's popular, but in terms of the grand scheme of things, ICT as a human is not a famous guy, but he had quite a few followers. So I was thinking, cool, let me jaw just dropped. I said, wait, whoa, what's this guy talking about? Like, what is this? And I think that is what sparked the desire to want to learn, because then we realized how much we didn't know. He has so many videos on YouTube, obviously, that we went on and watched eventually. But at first, it wasn't like I'm gonna watch him tonight. It was more like, oh, who's this guy? Oh, he's probably just another guy. He's just thinks that he can trade, whatever. Until you actually watch a few videos and you realize, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about, and he proves it because he uploads, winning trades, live trades, whatever. You guys can look on YouTube for yourselves. He's even uploaded his mentorship. He's literally uploaded everything on YouTube now. So you can literally go on YouTube and learn his trade and more or less become a millionaire. Obviously, that's case by case basis, but
Yeah,
technically you can. But yeah, we left it for a while, and then yeah, we came back to it, and then when we started learning it and started implementing it, and it's not just about watching the videos, because you can watch his videos, you can watch one video, 2 videos, 5 videos, 100 times. You're not going to learn it until you go onto the chart, you click onto the chart, and you look at it for yourself. Because there's some things, yeah, I've watched his videos, and I'm like, do I believe this? And obviously now it's different. But before, I'm like, do I believe this? Until I looked back on the chart and I saw how often what he was talking about was repeating. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. Let me just continue backtesting. Let me just do this over and over and over again, so that my brain can get used to the pattern recognition, things like that. But there's so many things. There's so many things to talk about with ICT. Yeah, in terms of IC, in my opinion, he's the holy grail of this whole thing. He's the master.
Yeah, the mastermind of the whole thing. To be fair, like the absolute master.
Who's starting up and trading or wants to actually learn how to trade, I'll say go to ICT, because he doesn't just talk about one way to trade. He talks about different styles. Swing trading, long-term trading, short-term scalping. He breaks everything down, but the way he breaks it down, only the people that want it for themselves will clock it, because he doesn't organize it. You have to. It's like a puzzle. It's a puzzle that you have to solve. So you got to look at all the pieces to then put it together. That's how I explain ICT.
Yeah. I think you summed up quite well. To be fair, it's his concepts are very, very advanced, and if you're just coming to the charts, it's going to be a massive learning curve for you, especially if you've done a lot of different styles of trading. I'm not going to say a lot of what's the term for it. Not institutional, other concepts people use.
What, the retail?
Yeah, I wouldn't call it retail trading what other people use, because at the end of the day, we're all retail traders. But
yeah, we're all retail traders. That's true.
If you're using other concepts that like for example trend lines, this and that, you can make money from it. But if you're coming from there and you're learning ICT's concept, it's a bit of a learning curve, and it will show you, I would say, the ins and outs of why trend lines work, why support resistant levels actually hold, why certain time frames are more important than others, this and that. But yeah, honestly, like, if you are gonna go learn from him, you definitely should check out his YouTube channel. We pretty much hold everything we learned, obviously with our own stuff as well, our own testing, our own sites in the market, but we owe a lot of it to him and his concepts, to be fair, and we can't ever take that away from him, to be fair. Yeah, amazing guy. Now, coming on to the topic of prop firms, because that was kind of our next step after we learnt about ICTs, getting into the prop firm. I think I called you one day, and I was like, bro, what is this FTMO thing I'm seeing on my screen? I was like, what? Like, hold on a sec, you're telling me I can make 10% in a month? At this time, we were thinking 10% was gonna be piss easy, yeah. And then easy. A man can have 100k to my name, well, not to my name, but we can use 100k account. Yeah. And then it's not only until we actually brought the account we got humbled. Do you
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah,
It's not
yeah,
only
yeah.
till we bought a account we realized, right, 10% isn't actually that easy to make in a month,
That's not.
especially when you're under the pressure of having to make it or you've lost
Yeah,
your money
yeah,
on the account.
exactly.
Talk to me through your experience with that.
So FTMO, obviously, like you just said, you called me up one day and you showed me about FTMO, and I did my own research, looked on FTMO, and obviously I thought the same thing. And this is a trap. We're talking about traps. This is one of them. When you get
Yeah,
to that
yeah,
stage, yeah, when it gets to prop firms, because it's tantalizing. You see, even if you start from the bottom of the range, I think the lowest account is probably like 10K, and it goes all the way up until 100K plus. Even 10K, when you see 10K, you're like, oh, 20K, 50K, 100K, like, oh, and then you see, oh, I only have to make 10% in a month and then 5% in 60 days. So you see that and you're like, nah, that's simple. And then you start it and then you realize, okay, cool, you know what, it's much more than just making 10%. You've actually you've got to be a disciplined trader, full stop. Forget about the 10%. You've got to be a disciplined trader, full stop. And after I think I did about I can't remember how many challenges I did. I think I did about 4 or 5 challenges before I actually passed one.
yeah. I
So
think
it
I'm
got to
similar to you as well. To be fair, similar amount.
yeah. So at the start, it was I will do a challenge and I will end in I will end in minus. So maybe that was like my first 2 challenges. And the thing is about every challenge, because me and Currency Games we do it at around the same time, and we'll both have similar results, which is pretty funny. And every time we fail a challenge, there was a learning curve. There's someone to learn, and we'll always go off and do the work to learn what we knew we had to go and learn. And when we learn that, then we'll try that in a new challenge, and it will do slightly better. And then it got to a point where we were finishing in break even. So when we finish in break even, just slightly in profit, then we realized, okay, cool, we just need to do what we're doing, but just do it a bit better. So then it got to a point, every challenge we were doing, there was something new to learn. There was a new breakthrough until, I think you got your your funding account before I did, but that was like a mental breakthrough for me, because seeing you do it meant that I can do it as well, because we're both coming up together. So literally, I think that it was the next challenge that I did, that I got. I think I did a 20K challenge. But in terms of the progress to get to that 20K challenge, if we had quit after the first, second, third, fourth, we would not have ever been funded in the first place. But doing these challenges is up to you to accept that you don't know everything about the chart. Obviously, we're far from knowing absolutely everything from the chart, but from where we were back then when we were starting charts, what we know now, more or less knew basically nothing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
So
agree.
if you're humble enough to accept that you're not as skilled as you should be in order to get these accounts, then you'll never get an account, in my opinion. You can get lucky, of course. There's definitely people who have got lucky, but that's the whole point of these funding accounts, because these these prop firms are making most of their money from trials, from people trying and failing, getting using their savings to try and then failing again, using their parent savings to try and fail again. These guys are making hundreds of millions, I'm telling you. But in terms of actually making money and actually being funded, the process, if you it's simple, but it's not easy.
Yeah,
Everything is just
exactly
numbers.
that.
The way you trade a prop firm, or the way you trade FTMO, my forex funds, whatever prop firm you're trading with, it's the same way you should trade your personal account. The way I see, I don't look at, obviously now I've improved my psychology. I don't look at prop firm and as, okay, cool, I have to do this, have to do that. Obviously that's the only downside of the prop firms. It adds that added pressure, but that shouldn't take away from what you're currently doing. That shouldn't change any of your actions. You should sit on your hands when you need to sit on your hands. You should shoot when you should shoot. It's the same thing. If you take a loss, you take a loss. That is it. That doesn't mean that you're gonna win the next. That doesn't mean you're gonna lose again the next trade. That doesn't mean you're gonna win again the next trade. It's more about being present and being ready for your setup. So if you're ready for your setup and you're there and you're disciplined and you're focused, then you have then there's nothing stopping you from being funded. In fact, I would that's what I recommend to a lot of people. I'll say that opportunity is there. I think this is the best time to trade because that wasn't there what 10 years ago. You couldn't get funded. You just had to make your own bread and just you know continue investing in your account. Obviously, that is an option you can still do, but you can have that alongside with a 20K account, a 50K account, a 100K account, and scale that up. Obviously, it's not easy, but it can be done if you put in the work.
Yeah, 100%. I 100% agree with you. Like, it was we did take a few hits when we first tried it because we thought it was easier than what it was. We didn't respect the 10%. We didn't even respect the 2% gains we would get off one trade. It's all about respecting what you've got and understanding that the market doesn't really owe you anything. Just because you need to get 10% that month or 8%, whatever it is nowadays, to get the funded account doesn't mean you're actually gonna get that. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
there's the market don't owe you nothing, and I
yeah,
think the issue a lot of people is that they have a lot of expectations, and sometimes the market conditions don't match your style. Sometimes your psychology is on tilt. Sometimes there could be a lot of other factors that are affecting your trading that month, but and I think another big thing is people always think that they have to get the challenge that month. Like, really and truly, all you have to do is get a return on your investment. And to get that return on your investment, you could end that month break even. And a lot of these companies, they will offer you a retrial.
yeah,
Just hit it again next month. I know Manfred's funds, they even offer you an extension. Like, let's say you only got 2% that month because your edge wasn't playing out the way you expected to, or there wasn't that many trades in the market that hit your what you need. You can still just go in and hit break even and then get it for next month. You know what I mean? So it is a big learning curve for some people, to be fair, but it is just one of those things. But yeah, no, funding challenge. I think it's a great time now to get involved in it. As long as you have the plan, you have the mindset behind it, and you've done your research about it, and you know which ones you need to do. I think it's obviously always a great opportunity to get involved in. And with the way you can scale these accounts up now, it's
oh, my
crazy.
days, my days, my days. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now, bro. Yeah, my internet's
Oh,
bugging
okay,
out a little bit, but
okay,
yeah,
no, no.
I was saying that the way you can scale these accounts up now is crazy. To be fair, it's
It's
absolutely crazy.
crazy. It's
Yeah,
crazy, bro. It's crazy. Like there's people that I've seen, especially on Twitter, because I just jumped on Twitter. There's not so many, sorry. There's a handful of people I've seen that are very close, if not, 1 million plus in funding. And that I think that's crazy because I think, a lot of people focus too much about how much are they catching a week. Because thinking about it like this, if you catch a 3 hour trade on a 100 grand account, obviously depending on how much you risk, let's say you risk a bag and you make 3 bags, if it's up to you whether you want to trade for the rest of that month. I mean, at least I know for the rest of the week I'm not trading. I mean, I have a 5 hour weekly target for myself, but at least I know for the week I'm not trading if I've got a 100K account. Obviously, if you've got a £100 account, you're gonna want to catch 20 hour. You're gonna want to flip that £100 to 50 grand. You get what I'm saying?
yeah, of
But
course, yeah,
but when you get these now when you're funded, you trade. I think you trade way less. I realized when I became funded, I started trading way less because I was making more. I was obviously I was making more from the funding account, but I feel like I was making more from trading less, which sounds counterintuitive. But when you're actually in the motion, when you've actually got this account and you're trading like it's your business, then you realize, oh, you know what? Yeah, that is a shit setup. I'm not going to
yeah,
take that.
yeah,
I'm only going to take the most hyperable setups that I can find. So for me, all I look for is one setup a week. And if we ever do a thing where we collab and we go on the charts, then I have no issue with doing that. But yeah, all I really look for is one setup a week. We've gone from looking from 2 setups a day to only to being happy with like 2 setups in a month or 3 setups in a month. And I think that's growth because we used to look back in the day. We used to think that a week of no trading, a week of no setups is there's something to worry about. And obviously that's when we didn't have as much knowledge. We don't understand consolidation periods as much as we do now. It's a lot of things I can talk about, but obviously with knowledge, the more knowledge you have, the better going to be. That's how it is. On let's talk if you're talking about football, you're not going to be as composed as a man standing next to you if the man standing next to you has put in more hours than you in terms of working on his first touch, working on his weak foot, working on his passing. Of course, he's going to be more confident and more composed because he's actually trained, and that's the same as the charts. If you don't put in the work, once it comes to actually clicking that button and actually executing, you're just gonna shoot yourself in the foot. You're either gonna hesitate and then try and get a setup late and then lose, or you're just going to miss a setup and then you're gonna punch your screen because you watched the setup play out and you didn't click because you thought it was going to lose.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Couldn't agree with what you're saying again. It's perfect. Like, it's a perfect analogy as well, and I think football, a lot of sports in general can link up to trading. To be fair, is because trading at the end of the day is a sport, and you have to be performing at the top of your game at all times. To be fair,